Hello viewers and welcome to Dragon Trail Gardens in Croatia for the first round of the UK Gaming Community Clio Cup. You can see here I managed to make a good start in the number 9 car, get myself into first place off the line. But around the first bend I'm going to be overtaken by Stephen in the number 24. Now he manages to lead the pack down the back straight towards the hairpin here and gets himself a little bit of a gap. And you can see the rest of the pack following him down into the hairpin and everyone just trying to get there cleanly. Lauren in the number 16 goes wide and off into the wall. George in the number 46 there gets himself a penalty for exceeding track limits. He runs out a little bit wide here and slows himself down to try and scrub off some of that penalty. That allows me to get through on the inside, but he doesn't realize that I'm there, so we end up bumping a little bit. Not to worry though, it didn't affect either of our lap times. He runs wide, makes another uncharacteristic mistake there, and finds himself in 5th place. That allows Zara in the number 47 to get through. You can see a little bit of damage on the rear corner there from contact earlier in the first lap. But she manages to pull a bit of a gap to George and begins hunting down the top 3. Now I find myself in 3rd at the end of the first lap after a drop of 1 position. We're going to just try and send it up the inside of Rue here, the number 69 with the purple and grey livery. And managed to just outbrake him down into the hairpin, get a nice clean exit. He's still hunting very, very close behind me, and both of us need to reduce the gap to Stephen up ahead in first place. A very good drive for him today at Dragon Trail. He pulled himself a big gap from the start of the race and manages to hold it throughout most of the race as well. So stick with our leader as he goes around the final bend and down onto the start-finish straight. I'm trying to catch him up in the slipstream here, and I've also got Rue and Zara both forming up a train behind me. As you can see, use all that overspeed into the first corner to try and take first place from Stephen. But I get a little bit out of sorts on the entry to the first half of the chicane, and it does end up costing me time. So in first place, but I have the train lining up behind me, all getting slipstream, all looking for a move. As you can see, Stephen pulls out, tries to go down the inside. I knew he was there, so I outbraked him as best I could, run it very wide through the hairpin, and I managed to stay ahead of him for the time being. The pack is getting closer and closer now. So we come through the S's, Stephen lunges it up the inside and managed to regain first place. But he runs out wide, and I'm able to take the position back from him, coming up towards the final turn. Now we can see back there that George has managed to recover from his earlier mistakes and get himself back into fourth place, and he's hunting down Rue as we go in to lap 3. As we start the next lap, we can see Rue has managed to get himself up into first place momentarily, but he's getting taken back by Stephen. I've run it wide into the chicane here and cut the corner a little bit, managed to get out ahead of George. But as we're all vying for slipstream, Rue manages to bring himself back up into first, and it all gets just a little bit hairy coming down to the hairpin. Stephen gets a little bit narrow, manages to avoid getting the penalty for cutting the track there. And George and I resume our battle for third place. Up until this moment, it had been a good lap from Rue to maintain his first place. But it was not to be as he runs wide, and I managed to sneak up the inside of everyone from fourth place and bring myself into the lead, but not for long as Stephen looks to go up the inside. And this time gets the move done, slots it in front of me. I leads into the first corner, but once again I take a look up the inside. I get myself into first place, but it compromises my entrance into the chicane, and you can see George making his vie for first place. Gets a nice run through the chicane, goes from third to first all in one move. You see just in the back there that Rue has managed to get himself a penalty for exceeding track limits. Stephen, wanting a look down the inside of this chicane, needs to force the issue, and there's a little bit of contact between the two of them. Now, Rue tries to make a bid for second place. It doesn't quite come off for him, and he ends up with a further penalty for side contact on George. Now we're back with Stephen. He manages a good run through the final corner here as Rue gets himself wide, and I manage to sneak up the inside once again and get myself into second place, following Stephen round. And just as I thought I was getting into the lead there, I clip the inside barrier to give Stephen the breathing space. And it finishes Stephen, Rue, George, Zara, Lauren, and then myself